The only real rule to become rich in the world: touch feet and pick pockets. If it hurt you to hear that, then maybe you've come to the wrong place. But if you want to understand how this world really works, then the next few minutes are going to be the most important minutes of your life. Until today, everyone was selling to you. Your insurance agent was selling you fear. Your boss was selling you hope. Companies were selling you guilt and pleasure, and the government was selling you dreams. You were just buying. You were just a consumer, a prey. But after today, this is going to change. After today, you will sell. You will become the predator. I am going to give you those 8 weapons that are not taught in any MBA college, that are not taught in any school. This is the dark psychology that the top 1% of the world uses but never admits. This video will be uncomfortable. You might not like hearing some things, but if you stay till the end, you will not be the person you are now. Maybe in your life too, there is that one person, the colleague or acquaintance you meet who compares their success to yours. Our son is in Canada. He has a 50 lakh package, and what are you doing? What I'm going to teach you today will give you the power to answer that person, not with words, but with your status. We will talk about those rules. How an astrologer sells a $5 stone for $500. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli said that the world doesn't run on morality, the world runs on power. And today, we will learn to acquire that same power. Let's begin. The first rule: believe and become an actor. Every sales training tells a lie. They say, never sell something you don't believe in yourself. It sounds great, moral, but it's only half the truth. In the real world, especially when you're starting your career, you don't always get a product you 100% believe in. Sometimes the job is such that the product is average, the company's service has flaws, but you have to feed your family, pay your bills, so what will you do? Will you starve? No. Understand this word: internal fracture. When your mouth is saying one thing and your mind is thinking another, a crack appears inside you. Your voice trembles, your eyes dart away, and the other person, whose brain has evolved over millions of years to catch lies, understands that something is wrong. He doesn't reject the product, he rejects you. So, you have 2 paths. The first path is to find work, a product you truly believe in. That's the best path. But if you're in a tough spot right now, if you can't find that dream job yet, then the second path is to become such a great actor that you even start believing your own lie. Remember the month of March. When you go to the bank, the relationship manager sitting there sells you an investment plan. He knows this plan isn't the best for you, but the sword of his target is hanging over his head. If he doesn't meet the target, he'll lose his job. At that moment, that person stops being a person. He becomes an actor. They call it the math of commission. A financial advisor gets higher commissions on certain products. Whole life insurance policies can pay 50–90% of first-year premiums, while term insurance pays much less. Mutual funds have trailer commissions. That's why you are pushed the product that gives them higher commission, not your benefit. The world doesn't buy truth. The world buys conviction. If you even speak a lie with complete conviction, people will believe it. But if you speak the truth hesitantly and fearfully, people will consider it a lie. But here's a big warning. The first rule is for survival, when you are struggling. But the person who relies solely on acting becomes hollow from inside, and hollowness cannot be hidden for long. That's why the second rule comes in, which is your foundation. The second rule: sell yourself first. Many people ask, I have a good product, my English is fine, then why don't people take me seriously? The bitter answer is, People don't take you seriously because you don't take yourself seriously. When you tell someone, "Sir, take this insurance, your future will be secure," but you yourself don't know what your tomorrow holds. When you talk to someone about discipline, but you yourself hit the snooze button in the morning, your subconscious mind knows you are not worthy of trust. Confidence doesn't come from shouting in front of a mirror. Confidence comes from keeping small promises you make to yourself. When you think, "I will finish this work today," and you actually finish it, your spine straightens. A different kind of spark comes into your eyes. They call it aura. And people buy the product later. First, they buy your aura. Think about that successful person you admire. Would they invest in you? No, because they can sense if you talk big but do small things. The day you conquer yourself, conquering the world becomes easy. But in different cultures, there's a different angle to this. In some places, if you show too much confidence, people will call you arrogant. In America, walking with your chest out is confidence. In Japan, it's considered rude. That's why the game here is different. Touch feet and pickpockets. It means external humility, but an intent as strong as iron inside. You have to show respect, bow down when appropriate, but get your point across. The one who only bows is weak. The one who only struts is a fool. But the one who bows and gets his work done is a player. Before the third rule, the game of connection. There was a man in America, Joe Girard. Until the age of 35, he was a loser. He had changed 40 jobs. But then he became a car salesman and sold 13,000 cars. Opened the Guinness Book of World Records. The title of the world's greatest salesman belongs to whom? Joe Girard. What was his secret? He noticed one thing. At every person's wedding or funeral, an average of 100-200 people come. That means every person knows 100-200 people. If you make one man happy, you've created a space in the minds of 100-200 people. This is called mental real estate. Joe Girard used to send a card to each of his customers every month. On Christmas, New Year, birthdays, only one line was written on it, "I like you." He didn't love them, but he acted so well that people started considering him their brother. This is called reciprocity manipulation. Look around the world. That old shopkeeper in your neighborhood, sitting there for 25 years. He doesn't have big degrees, but he's a bigger salesman than Joe Girard. He knows your child's name. He calls your wife by her respectful title. He reminds you, "Mr. Smith, you must be running low on sugar at home. Should I send some?" He's not selling goods. He's selling a relationship. Similarly, successful matchmakers around the world do the same. They tell the boy's side, "The girl is very simple, like an angel." They tell the girl's side, "The boy is a diamond, has a great job." They're not lying. They're just showing the truth from the right angle. This is called perception management. Serve the truth in a way that works in your favor. Remember, same facts, different framing, different results. The third rule, pain to escape. This is where the real game begins. Most people make the mistake of listing features. "Sir, this phone has this camera. Sir, I am very hardworking. Sir, our company is 20 years old." The customer doesn't care one bit. The customer only cares about one thing. What pain will he get rid of? Imprint this in your mind. People don't buy for happiness. People buy to end their suffering. People don't buy for gains. People buy out of the fear of loss. Take the example of a luxury car. In many communities around the world, certain cars carry different status. Think of a man who has heard taunts his whole life, who didn't have money, who was always looked down upon by colleagues. He works hard, saves money, and buys a luxury car worth $80,000. When he drives that car through his neighborhood, when he passes by the houses of those same people who called him worthless, and sees the jealousy on their faces, he gets a feeling that no air conditioning can provide. He didn't buy a car. He bought respect. He bought revenge. He bought an escape from his inferiority complex. The same logic applies to the gym. The guy going to the gym isn't buying health. He's buying revenge for the insult he received from someone. He wants to answer those friends who called him names. And the most dangerous example of this is the fortune teller or psychic. What product do they have? Maybe just words, but they sell it for $50, $100, or $500. How? When you go to them, you are troubled. They look at your palm, furrow their brow, and say just 3 words, "I see darkness." That's it. All your inner fear awakens. And then they say, "Don't worry. Light this candle, say this prayer, everything will be fine." At that moment, you don't ask if it makes sense. You silently pay the money. They didn't sell you a candle. They sold you an escape from your fear. Another example, a jewelry store writes 0% making charges or sale 50% off. You get happy thinking, wow, what a deal. But what actually happens? They increase the base price. If the market rate is $60 per gram, they say $70. They reduce the quality. They add hidden fees. In the end, you end up paying more money because of the discount lure. You wanted to hear cheap, so they gave you cheap. Take the example of IKEA. They don't sell furniture. They sell the dream of a beautiful home that even a young person can afford and assemble themselves. They sell dignity to people starting their first apartment. They sell the feeling of, "I built this myself." They sell a cure for the pain of feeling like you can't have a nice home on a budget. So next time you go to sell something, whether it's a product or yourself in an interview, don't tell them how good you are. Find out what the other person's pain is. What is their fear? What tension keeps them awake at night? And then present your product as the only medicine for that pain. The 4th rule, respectful manipulation. This rule applies everywhere, but differently in different cultures. In Western business culture, you're often taught to show dominance, maintain eye contact, sit in a power pose. But in many parts of Asia, the Middle East, and elsewhere, if you make this mistake, your game is over. Hierarchy matters everywhere. The boss is big, the client is big, the customer is king. If you show arrogance in front of them, they will consider you rude and show you the door. So what's the formula that works globally? Make the other person feel like a king, but you rule. Look at a doctor. When you go to a doctor, he doesn't shout at you, he talks calmly. But once he writes the prescription, you don't question it. You silently take the medicine. This is called authority. Arrogance has ego. Authority has knowledge. You don't need to show arrogance, you need to build authority. Let me tell you a technique called forcing question. Suppose you need to convince your boss of something. If you directly say, "Sir, this should be done," his ego will get hurt. He'll think, "This new person will teach me?" Instead, say this, "Sir, your point is 100% correct. But if we don't do this, there could be this loss. Now, sir, you tell us, what should we do?" Watch carefully what you did. You first massaged his ego. Then you instilled fear. Then you left the decision to him. Now he will make the same decision you wanted, but he'll feel it was his decision. Similarly, when you go to buy a car, the dealer offers you coffee, calls you sir, takes you for a test drive, makes you feel like a king. But when it's time to close the deal, they slip in financing, extended warranties, paint protection. Did you know? A car dealer makes only a small percentage selling the car. But selling financing and extras gives them much higher profit. Their real interest isn't just selling the car. and they do it so sweetly that you don't even realize it. Another trick is the family price guilt trap. You go to a shop, bargaining. The shopkeeper says, "My friend, you're like family. I won't give you the price I give to strangers. This is a special price for you." Now what do you think? Oh, this is a really nice person. And you stop bargaining because if you bargain more, you'll feel shameless. That's the guilt trap. They're neutralizing your bargaining power. This same game works in property dealing. This same game works in corporate offices. Give respect to the other person, make them feel big, and then gently get your work done. The fifth rule, no equals information, meaning no doesn't mean rejection. No means information. This is about the word everyone fears no. You did everything right. Still, the customer said, "No, don't want it, too expensive. I'll think about it and tell you." 90% of people break here. They go home thinking maybe their luck is bad. But for a professional, hearing no is just a part of the process. Just like a doctor doesn't vomit seeing a patient's wound, a mastermind doesn't get angry hearing no. When someone says it's expensive, they aren't saying they don't have money. They're just saying, "I'm not convinced yet that this thing is worth that much money." When someone says, "I'll ask my partner and tell you," or "I'll have to ask my accountant," these are just excuses. Your job is to cut through these excuses and pull out the real reason. Ask them, "Sir, absolutely right. It's important to ask your partner, but if they say yes, is there any other issue?" Now they're trapped. Now either they'll tell you the real reason or they'll say yes. The sixth rule, not shameless, fearless. This is the wall where most people fail. Talking about money, asking for money. In many cultures, we are taught that talking about money is rude. Praising oneself is arrogance. Because of this shame, the business owner hesitates while closing the deal. The employee works hard all year, but gets choked up when it's time for promotion. And what's the result? Those who don't ask, don't get. The world doesn't give you what you deserve. The world gives you what you negotiate, what you demand. You don't have to become shameless. You have to become fearless. A shameless person isn't ashamed of doing wrong things. A fearless person isn't afraid to ask for the right things. Use this technique while closing. Don't directly say "buy it." Say, "Sir, how shall we proceed?" Or say, "Sir, if everything seems fine, when should we start?" You didn't ask if they will take it or not. You asked when to start. This is called an assumed close. Assume the deal is done. And one golden rule: once you state your price or make your demand, become silent. Don't utter a single word. Many people get nervous after stating the price and start justifying, "Sir, it's $500, but it also has this and that. I can give a discount too." The more you justify, the more you lower your value. State your price and become silent. Let the silence work. The seventh rule: practice is greater than talent. Most people go into big meetings relying on luck. They think, "I'll go there, see the atmosphere and talk, improvise." This is foolishness. Top athletes don't just show up on game day. They sweat it out in practice. Only then can they perform on the field. I'll give an example you see daily but might not notice. Look at that street vendor selling things on a train, or the one selling snacks on a bus, or accessories in the subway. Watch them carefully. They say the same lines, in the same rhythm, in the same tone, 500 times a day. Word for word the same, every time, in every coach, on every train. Now think, between them and the office workers sitting in that train, replying to their boss on WhatsApp, who earns more? Very often, it's that vendor. Why? Because their script is rehearsed. They don't have to think. It's become a reflex. Whatever reaction comes, they have an answer ready. Customer says expensive. They say, my friend, you can't even get coffee for this price. This is quality. Customer ignores them, they move to the next. No emotion, no hurt. This is professional selling. Look at the most successful business owner in your neighborhood. They don't say something new every day. They say the same practice lines. Mr. Jones, I kept this aside especially for you. Madam, haven't had a single complaint about this one yet. My friend, this is the best quality. I use it myself. Same line, same tone with every customer. Because these lines work. In today's digital age, the same rule applies. If you're DMing on Instagram or approaching someone on LinkedIn, don't waste time writing hi, hello. Hook pain solution. Sir, I saw your profile. I think you are struggling with this problem. I have this solution for it. Can we talk? Don't sell in the first message. Create curiosity, build a connection. The selling happens later. So stop winging it. Stop taking chances. Write your script. Make a list of every objection. If the client says this, what will I say? If the boss asks this, what will be my answer? Practice it in front of the mirror. Rehearse it until it goes into your subconscious. The eighth and final rule, strategic silence. In some cultures they say, be silent and stare, dominate. But don't do that everywhere or people might think you're aggressive. The universal formula is silence plus confidence, skerk power, meaning you are calm, composed, not talking too much, but when you talk, you are respectful. There's no arrogance in your body language, but there's confidence in your eyes, clarity, a little fire. This combination is deadly. When you have stated your price or made your demand, don't chatter afterward. The right way is, sir, the price for this is $500. Then become silent. Don't say a single word, just keep confidence in your eyes and a slight smile on your face. The human mind cannot tolerate silence. To feel that silence, the other person will say something, and often they will say yes, or they will reveal their real objection, which is useful information for you. But if you get scared of that silence, if 5 seconds of silence feels uncomfortable and you blurt out, sir, if $500 seems too much, I can do it for $450, then game over. You've just admitted your price had no substance. You shot yourself in the foot. Another thing, the one who talks too much has less value. The one who talks less and thinks before speaking, people yearn to listen to them. This is also the secret to networking. The person who talks the most in every meeting, how seriously are they taken? Less. But the one who remains silent, and when they speak, everyone listens, their value is higher. Silence creates mystery, and mystery attracts followers. Create a mystery. Don't tell everything. Let there be a little suspense. The one who is always available has low value. The one who is a little hard to read, people run after them. So these were those 8 rules, those 8 weapons. Next time that successful relative asks you so, how much is your salary? You will have an answer, either in words or in your eyes, seeing which they will understand that this is no longer the person they could look down upon. If you are from a small town, from a non-traditional background, from a place without connections, don't make it your weakness. Make it your strength. You have nothing to lose. And the one who has nothing to lose is the most dangerous. A hungry wolf is more dangerous than a lion with a full stomach. You are that wolf. Now go hunt. Keep your face innocent, but keep your mind dangerous. Now it's your turn.